This is part 3 of the 4-part tutorial series on how to customize a MHS hilt in Photoshop. So part 1 we went over how to make a hilt in the MHS builder and import it into Photoshop, and part 2 we went over how to manipulate the hilt and how to make these overlays and make them stand out using the polygonal lasso tool. And this part is going to go over how to colorize your parts and how to add switches and all that kind of thing. Then the final part's going to go over how to make the blade just for the sake of completeness, and some other things to do just to make it look more finished and more professional. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make this base hilt black. And so we're going to select the image and hit click or use your keyboard Command or Control U. And that's going to bring up your hue and saturation panel. What we're going to do is we're just going to decrease the lightness for the base hilt, and you can see it's already getting black, and you can do that however much you want. I like it to be around 60 because that's pretty accurate to what we see today. And so that is our color for the base. And so now we're going to do the same thing with the angle overlays. We're going to make these brass, so Control U. Now for these we're going to click Colorize, and since they're going to be brass we want to move it over to the yellow to about 47. Now for saturation we want to increase this to give it a really nice brass look, and you can see you move that saturation up and down, you get different things, and we're going to leave this around 60. And we're just going to do the same thing for this. Go to the grip 1, Control U, colorize, saturation to about 60, hue to about 47. And the reason I use specific numbers is for consistency of the hilt, so they all look the same. Same thing, we have the grip number 1 copy, Control U, colorize, saturation 60, hue 47. Okay, so you can see we're getting somewhere. What we're going to do now is we're actually going to duplicate one of these layers we just colored, drag it over here, zoom in on our workspace, and we're going to put it over the place which we want color. There are lots of ways to do this. You can use the polygonal lasso tool to change the color if you like, but I found this is just the fastest and easiest way. Again, we're going to duplicate the layer, drag it over here to the emitter, make it a little smaller, and there you go. So now we have our hilt all colored. Looks kind of like a B, I guess you could say. Now we're going to add switches. Now switches are cool because it really defines the look of a lightsaber almost as much as the overlay. You can have big switches for heavy feel, small switches for an in-use feel, but today we're going to go with the tactile switches right here in the script section. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to angle overlay, and we're going to choose the ellipse selection tool, hold shift, and we're just going to take a circle out of the angle, and we're going to do layer via copy. We don't want to cut that out, we're going to copy it. So now we're going to drag that up here, get our movement tool, and we're just going to, it's difficult because the circle is small, but we're just going to drag it over here like so. Now this is just one side, it's kind of big, so we're going to make it smaller. Just drag it wherever you think looks good, like so. Alright, now we're going to make it look like a switch, because right now it just looks like a little round piece of brass. So we're going to add some dimension to it, and we're going to do that by going to blending options again. We're going to have an outer glow to set it apart a little bit, and we're just going to make that white because it's on black. You can see it just adds a little bit of edge, which you're looking for, and we're going to click also bevel and emboss. And what you see there is it adds a shadow to make it look dimensioned. Add contour, and you can see that it looks like a very basic switch. And so you could make this using a tactile switch and a brass cap if you wanted. So there's our basic hilt. We've added color to it, we've added a switch to it. You could use this technique to add a recharge port or take a screenshot of a recharge port and add it in. You can do that with screws, add lines here with the line tool. I mean, tons of stuff you can do once you have this base hilt with the overlays made. So that's our base hilt, and that is how to color it and add all the extra accessories. And whenever we come back for the final tutorial, I'll show you how to spice the render up and really make it look like a finished idea and concept.